Today I am going to discuss about module 3, which contains structural geology. What is structural geology? Structural geology is the study of the structural features of rock masses, which means the rock which forms the earth crust. The rocks which form the earth crust undergo various deformations, dislocations, and disturbances under the influence of tectonic forces. That means the shape of the rock body, the size of the rock body, and arrangement or mode of occurrence of rock masses in the earth crust. The structural features of rock masses originate at the time of their formation, like the extrusive forms and intrusive forms of igneous rocks and stratification of sedimentary rocks called the primary structures, and like dip, folds, faults, joints, unconformities are secondary structures. These secondary structures will be produced due to the weight of the overlying rocks or earth movements. The details of mode of formation, causes, types, classification, importance, etc. of these geological structures form the subject matter of structural geology. Structural geology is the useful branch of geology, particularly in the field of oil exploration and ore deposits. It is also important in civil engineering because the different civil engineering operations like buildings, bridges, dams, reservoirs, tunnels, etc. can be built successfully only on foundations, only on a proper foundations when rock structures are thoroughly studied. From the civil engineering point of view, it is important because these geological structures modify the inherent physical characters of rocks, rendering them more suitable or unsuitable for civil engineering purposes. For example, at a sedimentary rocks, upstream dipping beds site provides a desirable geological setup, while when the same rocks with downstream dipping dam site beds make the undesirable geological setup. Let us study one by one outcrops, dip and strikes, folds, faults, unconformities, joints. Here the first one is outcrop. What is an outcrop? When a rock formation is visible on the surface of the earth, then it is called by the name outcrop. Or else it can also be defined as exposed surface of a rock mass on the ground is known as outcrop. We can draw a simple diagram. This is ground surface. This one is exposed rock mass. What is an outcrop? The exposed surface of a rock mass on the ground is known as outcrop. Outcrop, this is an outcrop. Outcrop means this is the ground. When we go some places, definitely we can able to observe some kinds of rock masses without removing the topsoil. That is called by the name outcrop. Outcrop do not cover the majority of the earth's land surface, because in most places the bedrock is covered by soil and vegetation and cannot be seen or examined directly. However, in places where the overlying cover is removed thoroughly due to erosion and transportation, the rock may be exposed to our direct observation. That is called by the name crop out. When the topsoil is removed off, then it can be viewed directly. Then only this rock mass is called by the name outcrop. If not, when this rock mass is underneath the soil, definitely that is not called by the name outcrop. When the rock mass is visible on the surface of the earth or exposed surface of a rock mass on the ground is known as outcrop. It is very simple. Whether it may be igneous rock or sedimentary rock or metamorphic rock. Here we do not bother about whatever the origin. When it is exposed to our direct observation, then it is called by the name outcrop. Very simple. Let us move on to dip and strike. What is dip and what is strike? When the sedimentary rocks are deposited, generally they are horizontal in position. For example, if it is the sedimentary rock, when it is deposited, generally it must be deposited in a horizontal nature. However, these beds are tilted from its horizontal position to an inclined position. Then the rocks are said to be dipping. When the rocks are dipping from its horizontal position, then it is called by the name dipping. Then how do we define the dip? The dip of a bed is defined as from its horizontal position to its inclined position. The dip of a bed is defined as its maximum amount of inclination. You see, from the horizontal position to the inclination position. maximum amount of inclination of rock beds with respect to horizontal plane is called as dip. What is dip? Maximum amount of inclination of rock beds with respect to horizontal plane. Dip is expressed in terms of amount of inclination and direction of inclination. This is the dipping direction, this is the amount. When a dip direction, when the bed is in horizontal nature, then the dip is 0. When it is in vertical nature, then the dip is 90 degree. You see, from here 0 degree dip, from here 90 degree dip. From its horizontal position to the inclined position, at whatever the angle, from 1 degree to whatever the amount do we obtain, that has to be considered as dip. When a dip direction is at right angles to the strike direction, this is the strike direction, this one. When a dip direction is right angles to the strike direction, then it is known as true dip. True dip is always shown by arrow mark. When a dip direction is at right angles to the strike direction, then it is called by the name true dip direction. If it is strike direction, the orange color, strike direction, when we draw a line perpendicular to this one is called by the name true dip direction. This is the rock mass. When a dip direction is at right angles to the strike direction, this is the strike direction. When this dip direction is at right angles to the strike direction, then it is called by the name true dip direction. This true dip direction is always marked with an arrow. The dip is measured in a direction other than this true dip direction, then it is called by the name apparent dip directions. Apparent dip directions. Apparent dip directions are many. The amount of apparent dip will be always less than the true dip direction. You see, this is right angles to the true strike direction. The apparent dip amount is less than the true dip amount. If it is 90 degree, the whatever the amount will be obtained other than the 90 degree, they are all apparent dip directions. The amount of apparent dip will be always less than true dip direction. The angle of dip is measured with an instrument called compass clinometer. The compass clinometer is an instrument which is used to measure not only the dip direction, which is also used to measure the direction of strike also. For a horizontal bed, you see, When a bed is horizontal, the dip is 0 degree. When a bed is in vertical in nature, when a bed is vertical nature, then the dip is 90 degree. Very simple. We have to remember that true dip is always right angles to the true strike direction. Then what is true strike direction? True strike direction means when the direction is perpendicular to the true dip direction, then it is called by the name true strike direction. True strike direction means it is also a geographic direction formed by the intersection of horizontal plane and dipping plane. You see, this is horizontal bed. This is the strike direction when the bed is having 0 degree dip. When it is inclined, then the dip has to be measured. Dip means the maximum amount of inclination from its horizontal plane. Okay, whatever it is. Then what is a strike? This is a strike. It is a geographic direction formed by the intersection of an horizontal plane. This is the horizontal plane with a dipping plane. Horizontal plane with a dipping plane of rock bed. Strike is always at right angles to the direction of true dip. If it is true dip, which is always right angles to the perpendicular to the true dip direction. Strike is always right angles to the true dip direction or perpendicular to the true dip direction. It has to be remembered always. Strike is a geographic direction formed by the intersection of a horizontal plane with a bedding plane of rock bed. Strike is always at right angles to the direction of true dip. For example, strike is most of the time trending north-south direction. That's why the strike is measured. For example, you see, if it is the north direction, north-south direction, when the rock bed is in this direction, with reference to north, we have to measure strike direction, as well as with reference to south, we have to measure strike direction. For example, north 10 degree east, south 10 degree west. For example, this is the north direction. When this is a strike direction, when this is true dip direction, north 10 degree east. From here to here, how much of degree? North 10 degree. North 10 degree east. When a person stands here, definitely when it is an observation point, with reference to north, we have to measure strike direction north 10 degree east. As well as with reference to south, we have to measure south 10 degree west. From here to here. The direction is always prefixed by either north or south direction, as well as suffixed by east or west direction. Without north and without south, we never measure strike direction. While measuring strike direction with reference to the north as well as with reference to the south, the strike has to be measured. The strike has to be measured with the prefix of north direction as well as south direction with the suffix of east direction as well as west direction. Of course, instead of appearing in this pattern, when the strike direction is appeared north 25 degree west, then that has to be measured north 25 degree west as well as south 25 degree east. While measuring dip direction, how it has to be measured? While measuring dip direction, how do we measure this dip direction? How do we measure this dip direction from this strike direction? Here to here, 90 degree. From 90 degree, we have to subtract 25 degree. Then the remaining is 65 degree. Then south 65 degree west. This is the direction of dip. As like strike direction, we have to measure the direction of dip also. The amount of dip, the direction of dip, the direction of strike, all the three parameters can be measured with the help of compass clinometer.